The content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Word. Oh, hey, there we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the periodic review. False start. That's okay. I guess we'll just. I would say we could just edit that out, but
wait, are we
it's
on
live,
now?
so we're dealing with it. I
So
guess.
are we getting mics now?
So yes, we have mics now. We are hot. For some reason, I didn't check it. I checked the cameras, made sure the cameras all work.
Dang, you guys really missed it then.
I messed it up again. What was that, Rian? Oh man, that wasn't the nicest thing to say, but hey, we sure do appreciate you being here. Just kidding. As you can see, Miss Rian is not here today. She's working on homework and such, so apologize for the false start. Mr. Alakai, really quickly, what's up with you in your world?
So it finally happened. What I was worried about. You know how last week I was saying I was nervous about getting injured in the gym?
Oh yes.
Yeah. I tore my rotator cuff.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I went to the chiropractor this week and I was like, yo, my shoulder hurts. What up? And he was like, okay, bet, let's do some tests. So ran through some testing and he was like, all right, you have like a slight tear in your rotator cuff. So it's not like a complete tear where obviously I can still move my shoulder around. It's my left one.
Gotcha.
Like I can still function my shoulder and everything, but like yeah. So that sucks. Kind of have to stop working upper body, and now all I can do is just core and legs, and that's it.
Dang.
Which sucks because it's like I like doing legs, but I can't do squats. And I can't. I'm just so limited to what I can do in the gym now, which really
That's
sucks.
a bummer, man.
But it is what it is. And
I'm glad you're okay though.
yeah, me too. I go back next week, and from there we can determine how long it's going to take for me to heal, and for So
Gotcha.
sucks, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, as they say.
Yeah. Figure something
Hey,
else
girl.
out.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to not change my diet so I don't gain a bunch of weight and lose all the energy that I had. But I mean,
No, that makes sense.
yeah, I'm gonna try to keep my diet the same so I can just stay in that habit. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Not really much else going on.
Yeah.
Other than that, so what's up, puppies?
Yeah, except for the puppers are here to say hello.
Yeah.
Because lovely wife is working on homework today and work stuff, so it's just the boys today.
The Boys. Have you ever seen that show?
The boys. The one on Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I have.
Boys. That show is so funny.
It is hilarious, and it's really messed up, and
Yeah.
it's pretty wild. It's probably the wildest superhero series I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
That one and Invincible. I don't know if you've seen that, but
Invincible?
yeah, that's also on Amazon Prime.
I don't think I've seen Invincible.
It's really
But-
good show. Really good show. It's an animated show, but I mean, it's pretty adult and it's pretty cool for what it is. So Yeah.
Deal. I'll have to check it out. I've been recusing. I don't know if that's the right word. I've decided I'm no longer going to be watching stuff from Disney Plus. So
That's fair. I don't blame you at all.
It's just I've given him so many chances over the last few years. I'm just like, it's not getting better. It's getting worse. So I'm just like, okay, I guess I will no longer support him. So I said, wife, it's totally okay to discontinue our Disney Plus account. So
Disney Plus doesn't really have a lot of great stuff on there anymore anyway, other than like the classic movies that we grew up with and loved as kids. But I mean, like,
yeah, the Avengers and stuff was, I mean, most of them were pretty good. And
yeah, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like the shows, like the new shows that Disney's putting out are like,
they've been terrible.
Yeah. Like
very lackluster.
I have a hard time with, like The Mandalorian and Kenobi and
Book of Fett.
Good shows. Boba Fett sucked.
Book of Fett was not great.
Book of Fett
at all. Book of Fett.
Book of Fett.
Book of Fett.
Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, I didn't care for that show at all. Yeah, I haven't cared for Marvel stuff. I haven't really cared for the new Star Wars stuff.
Loki was pretty decent.
I haven't even seen Loki. Like, I'm so unmotivated to watch Loki, and the only show that I've liked so far on Disney Plus is probably Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Really? Okay, you need to watch Loki then, because Loki was probably the most decent series they've had out so far on Disney Plus.
Yeah, look, I haven't seen it, but I'll check it out one of these days maybe.
But just one series doesn't counterbalance all the other bullshit they've been putting out. So
yeah, I think I'll just stick with. It's weird. Like, I don't really like what Netflix is doing, but like I trust them to come out with better content than Disney Plus.
Yep.
If I'm like, and that sucks because like for a long time I really liked Disney, and then this stuff came out. Oh, well.
Yep.
But then all that stuff came out, and and then their new content has just not been.
It's not been great. It's been pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's not been great. Their follow up to everything after Avengers have not been great. Oh gosh.
Okay. So you've played RPGs, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm on the strong belief that everything that came out after Endgame is like playing Endgame content after like a open world RPG, just doing side missions after completing the main quest.
And completely botching like all the stuff that they've built up with Endgame,
pretty much,
or with Avengers.
Yeah, I think so far the only thing that's come out that I like post Endgame is like the Black Widow movie wasn't bad. Falcon and Winter Soldier, again, not bad at all. That's all.
What was your thoughts on
Oh yeah, and No Way Home. I like No Way Home.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home was. I thought that was a home run. I thought they did really good on that one.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I think so. The thing is, I will admit that I am biased because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero by far. Like, loved him since I was a kid. So like to see, and spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home, to see like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and all those characters, all the villains come on to the screen, and like it was definitely just fan service.
Yeah. And there wasn't really like a focused bad guy. It was just basically Peter Parker, making mistakes. He's being his own worst enemy, kind of a deal.
Yeah, it kind of felt like the antagonist of the show was Peter Parker himself. Like, it's his own, like,
it's really weird.
It's his own.
Other than that, it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, like, like I said, I'm biased, and it was super fan servicey.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
for sure.
It's Spider-Man. It's good. I don't care. Like, I'll watch it. Heck yeah.
Well, for sure, man. Well, let's go ahead and throw in our intro, and we'll get into our content today. So the first thing we want to say is we'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter. So don't forget to leave us a comment in the section down below. Today's episode is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. If we earned your subscription today, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, click that damn bell, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. The best way to support the channel is to share this live stream with family and friends and crush that like button.
Tell them we said hi.
and we love your mom. Also, you can send us all your topic ideas, articles, and video links to theperiodicreview@gmail.com. If you missed yesterday's live stream, the Periodic Review podcast is now free on the go at spotify.com. All of our links are in the description down below. So welcome to the show. So today, unfortunately, because of our false start, we didn't get our our quick 15 to 30 seconds of what we were going to talk about today. So we'll go ahead and we'll let you guys know. We're going to talk a little bit about the Motion Picture Association of America, how it's changed our lives, and kind of some of the interesting things that they've changed as of recently. And I did have some stuff here so that we can show you some pretty cool stuff. I actually have the evolution of the film rating system. So it's like a little, I don't know what I clicked there.
Which is weird because it's like we have our own rating systems that we kind of do on our own. Like for me, I rate stuff like on a scale of 1 to 10. Like,
right.
I feel like that's very basic for what a lot of people do. And then you got like Rotten Tomatoes, which does their percentage, and I know like Chris Stuckman, one of the big YouTube critiques, does like he gives movies grades.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know of Jeremy Johns, but he's like literally made up his own rating system, which is very like so creative the way that he does it. But
so like rating as far as like, you know, PG-13.
I mean like rating as far as like how good it is. But
oh, okay. Okay. So that's so
we're talking about like Jita.
Yeah, Jita to NC-17. Above that is your pornography. So yep, that's
I believe we call that rated X.
They call it NC-17. Or yeah, it is X. Huh? They replaced NC-17.
I was going to say like hang on.
No, you're correct. You're correct. I apologize. I retract my comments.
17-year-olds are allowed to watch porn?
No. I don't know what I'm talking about, honestly. So this is kind of like the evolution of, you know, how they kind of started out stuff. So it seems like it kind of started in the early 1920s, 1930s, and they've had kind of like, so basically the film industry had their own rating system for quite a long time until the 60s, where basically big government came in and basically said, okay, now it's time to really do something about all of this. And so they actually had to work on giving like better classifications as far as like ratings and stuff like that. Introducing PG-13 in the mid-80s, NC-17 in the 90s, and then all of that fun stuff. And so like...
So PG-13 didn't exist before the 80s?
Yeah, it didn't exist before the 80s.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. So
it was actually a really cool... It was actually a really cool thing to learn. And so the current rating system emerged in 1968 when MPPA chairman Jack Valenti replaced the earlier moral censorship guidelines known as the Hays Code with a revolutionary new patent-focused rating system. While the Hays Code authorized a movie for distribution based on whatever it was deemed moral according to an exhaustive list of rules, the current movie rating system was born out of the simple notion that the movie industry wouldn't approve or disapprove what audience would see, but instead would focus on freeing the screen and educating parents to help them make movie-going decisions for their family. The current classifications and ratings administration, with a rating board made up of an independent group of parents, gives advanced cautionary warnings to families about movie content. CARA's mission, or CARA's, is to afford parents tools they need to make informed decisions about what their children watch. So that's a little history for you guys.
Interesting. Okay. I didn't know that, but good to know.
Yep, messed up the cameras again.
Whoops.
Go me. Yay. All right. Well, I guess we have me and Alakai and a still picture.
That's awkward.
I don't really understand why my settings don't get saved. But because I switch between different accounts, it seems to reset everything every time.
That's weird.
So it doesn't default anymore for whatever reason. And I've tried to keep them have Streamlabs and then another copy of Open Broadcaster Source, which is the free Open Broadcast thing that you have. But it doesn't have all the cool stuff in it, number one. And number two, it didn't work. I literally tried, 2 different folders and everything, and it just kept importing the same information. And so
weird.
Yeah. So
Whack.
I'm just trying to get used to it, and it's just really annoying. So yeah, instead of let's see if I can get our goodness gracious.
Please hold.
So that's Rianne. Okay. And so this is Alakai.
This
So-
is Sparta.
So Alakai, you're number 2? You're number 2. So why? I don't know why I did that. And 3. It doesn't matter because Rianne's... oh yeah, I guess I can deactivate and reactivate. Now it works. All right, cool. That works. Sorry. Technical difficulties again. Gosh, that's really annoying. I'll
People
get better.
listening on
I'll get
Spotify
better
are
at
like,
this. I'll get better at this. I promise. I will. It's just going to be annoying swapping back and forth.
This is why we need
an actual person to do this. Yeah,
so we just need somebody to work it while we can talk.
that'd be nice. That would be incredible. That would be ideal. But here we are.
Yeah.
So what was really interesting. So basically, from what I understand from the history standpoint of the MPAA, is that historically they had a very rigorous rules as far as what could or could not be, and it was very specific. And then in this the late 60s, early 70s, they switched it to kind of a more fluid kind of rating, and then they had a board of parents and stuff to basically dictate what is okay and what is not okay, depending on G, PG, PG-13, which came out in the 90s, and then R 17 restricted, and X, which nothing comes out X anymore apparently, but that rating is still there, which is really interesting. So something that was really interesting that came out of this whole rating stuff is that the MPAA actually started the Check the Box program. This was in light of the Boston Marathon bombing. Do you remember the Boston Marathon bombing?
Yeah, but what does that have to do with movie ratings? I don't get that.
So what was really interesting is basically the government decided to kind of step in. It's just okay, well, because they believed, this is more left stuff, but they believed that because of what kids were watching, that these kids, because of violence, were creating bombs and blowing up stuff because of movies and video games and stuff like that.
I won't lie, I do think that there is a correlation between violent video games, violent movies, and kids' behavior. I don't think it's the causation though.
Hey Anna, welcome to the show.
Hi Anna.
Love to have you.
But yeah, I think there's definitely a correlation. I don't think it's the cause of what's going on though.
Yeah, I mean, just like anything, it's multifaceted. There's a lot of different factors in that equation.
Yeah, that's something that we talked a lot about in one of my communications courses. The one about winning arguments.
Yeah,
it was the one of those fallacies of there's correlation and there's causation.
Right.
I think the whole video games, movies, and kids' behavior, that's a correlation.
Right.
That's not a causation.
Right.
So, but anyways.
No, I completely agree. Just wanted to say hello to Anna. Welcome to the show. And so that was kind of like the response of the White House at that time. I don't remember who was in. I think it might have been.
If it was okay, so that was
one of those Obama,
Boston,
I believe.
Boston bombing was 2013, 2014.
So that was Obama.
Yeah, had to have been.
Yeah, I think that was Obama. I could be wrong. Fact check me, but I'm pretty sure it was Obama. So this is kind of a snippet out of the Fox News here. I'm gonna just go ahead and read it to you because I don't want to keep accidentally giving out my name. This is from FoxNews.com. Quote, the Motion Picture Association of America announces changes in its movie rating system Tuesday, saying it wants to help parents make informed decisions at the multiplex. The new system rolled out was as the Check the Box campaign will include prominent descriptions explaining why a movie received its rating. Films that might previously have been stamped PG-13 with a sentence beneath the rating will now feature those same descriptions in large type next to the ratings code. So instead of just here, I have some samples. Let me see where the posters are. I had some posters. Okay, so this is some good samples here. I don't know why I'm saying samples that way, but I am. So let's switch over to DuckDuckGo really quick. So if you look in these boxes here, it says parents strongly caution PG-13. So there's usually text in this box. It'll be like, strong language, nudity, gore, strong, sexual content or, whatever. Like they'll actually put it in these different boxes here. So it kind of gives you a better idea of why they chose those particular ratings.
Which is fair. I mean, like if you're gonna, it's kind of like that whole parental advisory that they put with music and everything. I mean, you gotta give a reason.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Spotify is especially good at doing that now with specific songs. Individually, it'll like put explicit, or if it doesn't have that, then obviously it's clean. But
exactly. So it's been kind of interesting to see that. They've kind of developed here and there and they've changed things. And I think in some regards, like especially the Check the Box campaign, I feel like that was very helpful for parents. The only thing is I've noticed that I think you have noticed as well, Mr. Alakai, where it seems that movies and TV shows, as far as like the ratings are concerned, it seems that more and more, violence, language, sexual content, nudity are kind of bleeding more into the PG-13 range. Has that been your experience?
Yeah, I mean, so it's interesting because, like, R today is not like what R was back in like the 80s. I mean, like back then they definitely didn't have the kind of effects and all the resources that they had back then. Mm-hmm. R back then is like today's PG-13.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I watched, do you remember back in 2004, Troy, that movie that came out with Brad Pitt and Sean Bean?
Yes, I do remember that one.
One of my favorite movies in the world. But watched that movie a couple weeks ago. And like, I just remember like there just wasn't, it's rated R. But the violence is like, I mean, obviously there's battle sequences and it is violent. Like there's a lot of fake blood.
Yeah.
you can tell it's very fake.
Yeah.
But like the violence isn't terrible compared to what we've seen now. Like The Boys on Amazon. Like,
oh my goodness.
That is the most violent shit I've ever seen, probably.
And just really messed up like situations.
Yeah.
Like
and then,
that are very adult thematic for sure.
Yeah. And then think about
adult
like
themes, excuse me.
Yeah. But then think about like adult films, or not, what am I saying, adult films? Think about, I don't know how I got this. Think about like horror movies in the 80s versus horror movies now. Like compare like Friday the 13th to Hereditary. You ever see Hereditary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like two completely different spectrums, right? Because the violence is just through the roof in Hereditary. Like there's some gnarly stuff that you see in that movie.
Yeah.
Versus like Friday the 13th, it's just like, I'm going to stab you. And then you see boobs every once in a while. But
or like go even farther back to, some of the earlier stuff like Halloween. The first Halloween where there was zero blood, and it was, cutaways when like the violence was happening.
Yeah. Right.
So you had to like kind of visualize it in your mind instead of actually watching it come to life on the screen, which is really cool.
Yeah. And I feel like that whole off-screen visualization that you can just use with your imagination, that's like slowly starting to come back in certain aspects of filming, but that's more of like it depends on what the director's using.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's just used as like some kind of form of art in some aspects of filming, but I mean,
yeah, it's still, a lot of it is protected under freedom of speech, like from the wow, I'm blanking right now.
Yeah, I get what you mean though.
I mean?
I feel like a lot of shows now are like
Constitution. Wow, I couldn't think Constitution. My mind is definitely somewhere else today, and especially now that I've messed up the beginning.
It's all good. This is what it is.
It's all good. It's all Gucci.
We're here. We're at where we're at. No, but yeah, I mean, like, violence today is just not what it was. Like, all the Netflix stuff, like, it's so normal for TVMA to just, it's
do
just
whatever.
It's normalized, and they can just do whatever with TV. Like, they're literally free to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
With their entertainment. So I mean, and part of me is like, that's really cool, because now it's like you're not limited. Like, you can show whatever you want, you can tell whatever story you want, and be as honest as you want.
As much male frontal nudity as you want. Just big dicks just swinging all over the place.
At the same time, though, there's a lot of stuff that's being normalized that I don't really think is cool being normalized.
Yeah.
Like, I love the show Euphoria, but that show just depicts so much teenagers getting into sex, drugs, and like all that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I appreciate the honesty,
but hashtag not all kids.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, they're depicting teenagers, and that's what you're showing.
Yeah,
like,
that's kind of
it's a very
blurry line as far as that becoming, very suggestive for teens.
And it's super normalized, and it's like, it's desensitizing youth to intimacy with a partner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, yeah, it's,
well, especially as kids as early as what, like 4 to 6 are seeing their first pornography.
Yeah, they're exposed.
They're exposed to the internet and stuff like that, and
they're exposed way too early now. Like, it used
and
to be,
it's too easy to get it. It's way too easy to get it.
The thing is, it's getting younger and younger. I think like years ago, I think kids were getting exposed to it by like 12, 13.
Yeah.
'Cause that's when like most parents
between
in the
like
home,
10 and 12.
Yeah, because that's when a lot of parents in the home would be like, okay, like, now we're going to give you access to the internet, and nobody really knew about firewalls back in the day. So, I mean, like,
or like safe search engines so that they could like filter out, all the porn sites and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, you got a 10, 12-year-old kid getting exposed to it, and the kids will say it's on accident, but I mean,
they're not. I mean,
they're not.
We were all kids at one point.
You're curious. You're
curious. Yeah.
You're a kid. You want to know. But yeah. And then like now it's just getting way younger.
Yeah.
Because parents are now giving their kids a phone or a tablet at like 4 or 5 years old, and then that's when they're getting exposed to it. And things like Twitter, Snapchat, and all those websites are not
helping.
They're not filtering it, and they're not like putting age restrictions on anything.
Yeah. Well, even Twitter. Like, I think you can still put some pretty racy pictures on Twitter.
Yeah. What's crazy too is we're putting age restrictions on like alcohol, marijuana, cigarettes, and even movie restrictions. And
technically pornography. Like, you're not technically, but
technically movie restrictions too.
Yeah.
Yet, like, all stuff that like produces that dopamine chemical, and then you have the internet, a cell phone, which also produces that dopamine chemical, and we're not putting age restrictions on that.
Yeah.
And not to say that like not to say that dopamine is bad. I'm saying it's addictive.
Yeah, and especially it is bad for developing children for sure.
Yeah.
Especially getting too much of that.
You're getting exposed to it that young. It's going to desensitize you pretty quick, and then you're going to have to grow up learning how to get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you're not even going to grow up learning how to get out of it at all. So, I mean, I don't know, man. All that stuff really does start in the home with the family.
And it comes down to good parenting.
Yeah, and it's so hard now too, because like when parents want to be really supportive of their kids and like let them go hang out at the friend's house, that friend may have parents that just don't care. So it's like, well,
and a lot of these kids, unfortunately, they're having like their first sexual experiences over at friends' houses, like at sleeping parties and stuff.
Way too young too.
Yeah,
like
it's really sad.
Yeah,
and I think something that's pretty interesting when it comes to TV and movie ratings is that I actually took some time and I read through some of the stuff that's the current rating system, and it's pretty loosey-goosey. Like there's not like, okay, you can have so many dams and so many shits and so many assholes, like the words. And if you have too many of these, you're gonna trip it from like PG to PG-13 or PG-13 to R or whatever the case may be. It's not that black and white. It's like they have some like lines as far as like nudity is concerned. Like they will allow some nudity in PG-13 movies, and I think that was actually very apparent when what was the first PG-13 movie that had frontal nudity in it? Was it Titanic?
I don't think that Titanic had frontal. Well, are we talking about male nudity or
female?
It was way before Titanic.
There's stuff way before Titanic. I'll have to Google it because
there's stuff in the 80s that like.
Well, the PG-13 didn't come out until the 1990s or the early 90s. So
I thought PG-13 came out in the
90s. No, 80.
Didn't you say 80s?
Did I say 80s?
I thought you said 80s.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah, 84.
84, gotcha.
So PG-13's been around for a minute.
I was gonna say like, it was way before Titanic, but
I'm gonna double check. First nudity in PG-13.
This is what we're searching on Google on the podcast.
Movies. Hey, it'll work. 10 most memorable nude scenes in PG-13 movies. PG-13 films that bear breast, full frontal nudity. I just want to know what the first movie was. Like, come on, DuckDuckGo.
You're gonna have to explain this to Rianne later. just saying. What did I find on your computer?
Bachelor, Sisters, Wives, 90 Day Fiancé. Weird. Oh, was there full frontal nudity in Weird Science?
This is the shit that we're looking at.
Okay, okay. It wasn't very specific. I tried. I really did. I tried to do it on the fly. It didn't work. But yeah, I know that there was, some probably before that, but the one that I remember was Titanic, because everybody was like, all up in arms because, at that time we were very religious at that time.
Yeah.
Well, I was, but, and, parents were like, no, nobody's going to go see Titanic because it shows titties. And so we're like, okay. And it was interesting because like there was backlash, and like all the news stuff that I remember anyways were saying, well, the reason that we allowed it for so long and for so much in this movie that was PG-13 because it was done tastefully and artistically. And I'm just like, tits are tits. Like, come on now. Like, I understand like there's a difference between somebody drawing like a nude model and like, watching a sorority dude motorboat a chick. Like, I get it. Like, there's a big difference between that. But I swear I remember like there was a news article that was trying to say why it was okay for them to do it. It was actually quite hilarious.
Well, yeah, and like a lot of movie studios will have to come out with statements when it comes to like, and obviously directors and producers will get asked the question all the time. They're like, "What did you decide to do the X, Y, and Z with your film?"
Yeah.
So I mean, like, of course they're going to get asked. I mean,
I wonder when the first F-bomb was in a PG-13 movie. This is the stuff we're Googling. Let's go.
I was going to say, I remember, like, I'm pretty sure you can say it, like, 10, 15 times in a PG-13 movie before it has to get the R rating. I don't remember exactly how many, but, like, you can say it quite a few times. It's just that nobody does it. I feel like most movies keep a standard to, like, 1 or 2.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is that when I was looking through, you can say F you once in a PG-13 movie.
Is that it?
But you can't say I want to F you. This is Quora.com.
So you can use it for one context but not the other?
Adventures of Babysitting 1987, don't F with the Lords of Hell, was the line. That's what there's... Okay, this is the chive. So, I mean, who knows? It's not like... It sucks, because I'm, like, really trying hard to, like, find this information on the fly to, like, you know, kind of...
He's also trying hard not to say...
the F word as well, because it's in my vernacular. So
yeah,
it's kind of one of those things. Like, sometimes it makes sense to use that in the English language and in a certain situation. But what's really interesting is that, like, those words weren't allowed in PG movies. Definitely weren't allowed in PG-13 movies for a while.
You still can't curse in PG movies, right? You can't say, like, shit, damn, or bitch or whatever in PG movies.
Hold on.
Pretty sure.
Curse words you can have in PG rated movies.
Heck. Crap. But.
Can you swear in a PG movie? One F-bomb in or swear word can now be used in G and P rated movies.
What? No.
Customers and content.com says.
You can't say the F word in a G rated movie.
You can have the word.
No. That's not a thing.
I don't know.
No way.
Who knows?
No freaking way.
See, this is the thing, is that, like, when I was looking at the rules, that it was very specific on, like, broad terms, like language, nudity, violence, war violence, gore violence. But it wasn't like, okay, so in our movies, it's okay to decapitate people, but in PG-13, oh, I take that back. Lord of the Rings, decapitation, PG-13 movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did. They cut off a lot of heads in those movies.
Yeah, they actually did, especially
Love
in
those movies.
Lord of the King, Return of the King.
I've been rewatching those movies lately. I finished
nice.
I finished the extended version of Fellowship of the Ring.
Beautiful.
Oh, I love that movie. I love all those movies.
They don't make movies like that anymore.
I know, dude.
I'm really concerned about the Ring of Powers that are supposed to be coming out.
I know. I'm kind of nervous. I'm excited, but I'm nervous for it. Anyways,
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember when those movies came out. It's like, it's interesting because you would think that because those came out in the early 2000s that they would deem worthy for an R rating, but they managed to keep them PG-13 despite them there being lots of dismemberments.
There's some blood.
There's I mean, like,
not a ton.
It's kind of
definitely
hard
violence, a lot of war.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell too, because like with how many orcs they're chopping up, their blood is pretty much just it's mud. It's black. Like,
that's a good point too. Like, I wonder if the color of blood would make a difference.
Yeah, I think I saw those movies for the first time when I was like 6 or 7.
Damn, son.
I was young when I saw those movies.
Bro, I saw the first one and I saw the second one just before I left on my mission. And then I had to wait. Or no. The third one came out like while I was on my mission, and then I came home and I watched it like afterwards. Like the first like month, I was like, I am seeing that movie.
God, love those movies so much.
Freaking great films. They don't make movies like that anymore, bro.
They really don't. Oh man.
So where do we go from here? Like, as far like, do you feel like the system is doing well, especially watching it progress over the 5, 10, 15? Like, I remember movies from 20 years ago, and they're wildly different.
So
much more like violence, much more sex, much more language. Where do you think we go from here?
So the thing is, like, it's an artist's like ambition almost to be innovative and like creative and try to find new ways to tell stories. And I love that, and I appreciate that so much, and I will never say no to that. Like, if you find a new way to be creative to tell your story that you want to tell, do it. However, I am not a fan of the way that we're normalizing certain things. Like, intimacy is now being very casualized.
Yeah.
If that's a word. But, like... Yeah, it's just
well, and especially with dealing with
like
different sexualities, sexual attractions when it comes to like children. Like anyone under 18 is a child.
The thing is, it's now like it's becoming so normal for like adult film stars and models to just make a living at home. I mean, like,
oh, you mean like cam girls?
Yeah, like porn sites are going down, and websites like OnlyFans are starting to pop way up.
Bro, some of those girls are making between $20,000 and $50,000 a month.
They're making a lot of money, yeah, and it's like
a lot of damn money.
And it's like, you know what, you do you, but like it's becoming so normalized now. It's like, do you really want to? Like,
yeah. Well, did you watch that series, the Most Hated Man on the Internet?
No, I never saw that.
Okay, it's on Netflix. Go watch it. It follows the guy that made that website in the early 90s that basically it was like revenge porn, where like they were hacking into girls' emails and stuff and like pulling nude photos and then posting it up, and so people can basically make fun of them. It's pretty messed up.
That is messed up.
It's pretty messed up. But
getting
like, sorry, go ahead.
I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
But yeah, like going back to the point, it's just like I want artists to be creative. I want directors to tell a story that captivates me and like makes me sit and think really hard for a while. Like I love those kind of stories. So movies like The Northman or Top Gun or like those
Donnie
movies.
Darko.
Like those movies came out this year, right? And they're movies that like really stuck with me and were like, dang, like I need to think about this for a while.
Yeah.
And like I want to keep I want to keep seeing stories like that. I don't want to see things being too normalized.
So then do you think that we need a less loose rating system where they actually go, okay, so these are the parameters that you can make a movie, and as long as you're within those parameters, it's PG. But if you have a few things outside those parameters, you bump up to a PG-13.
I think.
Like, should it be more objective or should it be more subjective? I guess is another question.
I don't know. I feel like. Sorry, can I just my mic there?
No, you're good.
But I feel like it just should stay to its basic parameters, dude. Like G, it's basically for kids, family friendly. PG, it's like still family friendly, but like you got enough sarcasm to hurt some feelings in there. PG-13, like okay, now we're getting pretty violent. R, it's like okay, no limits. So I mean,
all bets are off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like it should stay pretty basic. Like if it's an R-rated movie, then like it's probably something that you shouldn't take your kid to see. Yeah. If it's PG-13, it's like okay, you can take your kid to see if like you're cool with it. It won't scar them emotionally, but like still, yeah. PG and G, like just keep it family friendly.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Well, I mean, I agree with you that we definitely need to have the space because I mean it is under the constitutional right of freedom of speech. Where, you can't completely censor, the films and stuff like that, but, you can take certain scenes out to kind of, get it under a certain rating. So like if you really wanted to get that PG-13, maybe you have to cut out a couple of, headshots and decapitations and stuff.
A lot of R-rated movies do that with like when they want to put something on live TV, they'll like edit out. Like if there's an
or words,
like it's funny because like you can see their mouth moving, but it's like they throw a different word in there.
You don't want to know why that is?
Why?
Because it's a totally different rating system when it comes to TV.
Well, yeah, But I mean,
That's wild though. Like I feel like
you have to go from R to like TV 14 or whatever the rating is for it. But
and then they have to go in and they seriously have to dub a bunch of words out, take some scenes out, because they also have to run it in a certain amount of time as well.
Yeah,
because they have to
it's
worry
true.
about run times.
And like they got to be able to fill the space with ads.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I agree with you. We still need to have the space and allow people to be creative and come up with cool new things. But also there should be some things that should not be in films and movies. There should definitely be some things that should not be in the space.
Dude, do you remember it was like a whole controversy, but back in like 2015 I think, Netflix came out with the movie Love. Do you remember seeing that movie on Netflix?
No, I don't.
Okay. I never actually saw the movie, but like the art, like it got taken down, but it's straight porn. Like they don't censor anything.
Yeah, so this is what I mean is that like it definitely needs to kind of figure out. This is just my opinion, and I could be wrong, but I really do believe that they need to sit down and be like, okay, what are the parameters of a G-rated movie? Like, could we have some adult stuff that could be squoze in there so that way the kids can enjoy the movie, the kids aren't going to get it, but the adults will get that? Or is that the whole normalization thing and kind of putting suggestive stuff into kids and they go, Mommy, why did they say that? And you're just like, well, you're kind of too young to kind of figure that out.
Keep that PG, because like, you remember Shrek?
Yeah, Shrek.
So many adult jokes in there.
Shrek should have been PG-13 in my opinion.
So many hidden adult jokes in there, but I mean, it's like.
But most PG-13 movies nowadays, I believe, should be rated R, because I feel like kids are being exposed to too much stuff right now. They're being exposed to LBGT stuff. They're being exposed to sexual nature when it comes to stuff that are more adult themed way too early. I think kids are getting access to the internet way too early. I feel like kids are having smartphones way too early. I feel like there should be more of an age gate as far as like what kids should be able to have access to. And I get it, like there are some parameters and there are some phones that you can get and you can kind of do some stuff, but in actuality, a lot of parents really don't give a shit, which is not great. And so that's why I believe it's really important to kind of have very specific parameters. This is how many F-bombs you can have a PG-13 movie. This is how much nudity, no nipple, but maybe backside butt, or whatever the case may be. Say, okay, these are the parameters. And once we get outside of that, then it goes to R.
He touched the butt.
He touched the butt. And then if it goes too far, where you start seeing a little bit of shaft and a little bit of, little bit of kitty cat, then that gets pushed out to pornographic, and they got to go completely on a different place for all that. And I also believe that pornography should be much more difficult for kids to access. Like these days, all I got to do is click a box and say, okay, I'm over 18. You have full access to free pornography. Like, and there's so many different things that you can do to really verify people's age. I don't know, maybe social security numbers. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that makes it perfectly enabling kids to get into it, because obviously if the kid gets a hold of, mom or dad's social security number, they could just type that in. But it does give you another layer of a barrier, and having to sign up. Yeah. I don't know, maybe have to scan your ID and send it in so they can verify it's you. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does make it more difficult for people to get onto pornographic sites, but I think the biggest thing here is to try to protect children. I think is really, really important. Like, I feel like kids shouldn't be exposed to any of this stuff until they're of the correct age. And unfortunately, it's very subjective to the person. For the parents that are raising their kids, some parents are like, oh yeah, we talk about sex all the time. They're 8 years old. I'm just like, huh. But I mean, I disagree with that.
Talk about it, or do you educate them?
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, is that some parents are just so open about it. They're learning about all this stuff. By the time they're 14, they've already had their first sexual experience. Some kids that young are already getting pregnant nowadays. Like, Like when does the nonsense stop? Where do we say, okay, this is the line and we need to not cross it? It seems like that line is just kind of like, oh, it's just, whoever you know, like kids should not be watching pornography until they're of the age legally to be able to do so. And there needs to be put stuff in place where they can't access it. That's my line. And I feel like there should be more defined lines when it comes to PG-13 and R, because I feel like going back, like we said, to the 80s to today, 8, 9, 10, 11, so almost 40 years, right? No. Yeah, 40 years. Wow, I'm old. It's been almost 40 years, and look at, like, if you compare and contrast the films from back then to today, and especially with involving kids in different things. Like, I just started a new series the other day, and I'm watching The Sandman, which is kind of an interesting series. I would not recommend, kids to watch it.
Is it a show or is it a movie?
It's a TV series on Netflix.
Okay.
It's a brand new series. And the first episode or two, like, the main character is completely nude. You don't see frontal nudity, but this dude is completely nude with a kid in the room. And I don't think that's okay. I don't think that's okay to be portraying that. The kid might be 6, maybe 8. Just a dude full frontal nudity. Like, you don't see it, but it alludes to that this guy is completely nude, and this kid and his father, they've trapped this character. He's he is the Lord of Dreams, and the dude's completely naked. You don't see any frontal nudity, but it suggests that they're able to see everything. And I'm not okay with that. Like, that's where I'm at on it. Sorry to get on my little high horse there. I'll come down now.
No, I mean, I don't know. Netflix knows no limits when it comes to their storytelling, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I know that there's, that you can create, certain parameters and stuff like that, but it's really easy to just switch to a different profile and you have access to everything.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's how, when Rihanna and I, we were raising one of our foster kid for a year. That's how he was able to access porn through a PlayStation because, I had my profile on there as well as his, and his profile was completely locked down. Like, you couldn't access shit unless I gave the go ahead. But he found that I left it logged in. And so all I had to do was just switch over to the profile. Didn't ask for the password or anything. He had full access. He was just cruising on Pornhub. So freaking stupid. And that was dumb on my part because I didn't take that profile off. So some of that obviously is on me.
Yeah, but I mean, like, kids are curious, man. Like, they're gonna make decisions.
They're gonna find shit. Like, they're gonna do it. If
They
want it, they can figure it out.
Yeah, if a kid's dedicated enough, they'll figure it out, and like that's them. What I think they should be taught more is, like, just be honest, be real. Like, if a parent asks you if you did something, like, just own up to it, be real about it. Like, don't lie. Like, it's okay to make mistakes. Like, it's okay to do stupid stuff. Like, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lie about it. Be real about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, this is interesting.
What you got?
So this is a quote from mtsu.edu. So I guess it's like a movie. I have it pulled up. Maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe not.
Here's a possibility that Jacob has it pulled up.
And
we'll find out in a sec here. I can see him scrolling through
there
stuff.
we go. First Amendment Encyclopedia. Presented by the John Sagan Thaler Chair of Excellence in First Amendment Studies. So this is a study on motion picture ratings.
Okay.
So this is just a little snippet from that. So we already know about the replacement of the old Hayes production code with the MPAA rating system in the 60s. The production code listed specifics about what would not be permitted in films and a vague imperative that films should not lower the moral standards of viewers. There were several reasons why the production code was replaced, including a 1968 opinion in Interstate Circuit versus Dallas, in which the Supreme Court forbade local governments from banning movies shown to adults but permitted officials to pass laws preventing children from being exposed to certain material. In addition, as the I can't say
hierarchy.
Hierarchical?
Hierarchical?
That word, yes. Studio system died. Studios executives lost their iron grip over the content of films, which made the production code unenforceable. Finally, the social norms of the 1960s allowed for more candid depictions of adult matter, and during this period was a greater acceptance of more explicit degrees of nudity, sexuality, and violence.
Okay. So
they're like, open the gates. So before that, you weren't allowed to have like nudity, sexuality, violence. Like that wasn't allowed in film for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, I think if you're an adult, like, fine. You know, I'm totally okay with that. Whatever you want to watch, you know, you watch. But when it comes down to kids,
be careful.
Be very, very careful, especially even PG-13 movies. Like, that's why those boxes are so important. I think there's enough information out there you can Google and they can tell you exactly why, you know, films are rated the way they are now, which is kind of cool. I'm trying to think of the website that I know of. Let's just pick up Sandman Netflix. Why is it rated? I think it's mature. Netflix Life, The Sandman Parents Guide and Age Rating. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm not finding it right away. But I'm pretty sure there's a website out there that'll give you the reasons. Why is my movie rated? Welcome to filmratings.com. 75. There's gotta be one out there. I'm just not finding it. Title of film, The Batman. Let's try that one. That one's pretty recent.
Good movie.
Batman 2020, rated PG-13 for strong, violent, and disturbing content, drug content, strong language, and some suggestive material. But see, even that's pretty vague. Like, what drugs? What content is disturbing of it? Is it violence? Is it being punched in the face?
Where are the other drugs going?
Where are the other? Swear to me.
Swear to me. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. What are your final thoughts? Let's summarize this and let's get you home so you can go to night.
Oh yeah, it's time for me to go to sleep, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, really, it just comes down to the family. It comes down to the house. Like, what are you going to expose your kid to? Like, if you were to come home from work and find your kid on the couch watching something like
tentacle porn.
Like,
sorry.
What? Like, how are you going to feel if you come home to your kid watching something like as violent as The Boys? Like,
yeah.
That's like, I'd be okay with my kid watching The Boys when they're older, when
Yeah.
they're when they're not going to be like traumatized by anything on the screen.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Or Daddy, why is that octopus on his crotch?
oh,
From season 3.
oh,
Spoilers.
see, oh, season 3 was gnarly.
Yes, season 3 I was like, maybe I shouldn't be watching this.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, this might be too suggestive for my taste.
No, but I mean, just be careful what you're exposing your kid to. Like I said, there's not a causation of their behavior from it, but there's definitely a correlation. So I mean, like,
and it could traumatize them, especially if they're exposed to it, too early.
yeah. I mean, just depends on what it is. Depends
If
on
they're
what
not
you're
prepared for
letting
it.
them watch. I mean, like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely blessed for being in a country where, you can raise your kids how you want to raise them. But I definitely believe there's definitely some shenanigans going on with the rating systems, not only in film, but definitely in the TV series. They're allowing quite a bit more stuff going on in TV series, and I think The Boys is definitely season 3. Great example. Like,
yeah. I mean,
who's ever heard of a show where they
superheroes are actually bad guys?
Yeah, well, not just the gnarly stuff that we see.
But I mean, kids are gonna be exposed to stuff whether you like it or not. Like, it's just gonna happen. They're gonna be exposed to a bunch of stuff. It's gonna be out of your control, and it is what it is. That's fine. They're gonna learn a lot with you. They're gonna learn a lot without you. I mean, it's just do the best that you can. That's really all I can say.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, do the best you can. Do your homework and making sure you know what your kids are watching. That's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Then pay attention to those little boxes. Again, I don't remember what. I'm sure there's a website out there that'll let you know exactly why they're rated. Not so vague as the ratingsystem.com or whatever that I went on. But from our family to yours, have a wonderful evening and good night.
Bye.
Say hi to your mom for us. Hello everyone, Jay Rhymes with the Periodic Review. Today's video is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. Hopefully we've earned your subscription today, so don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that damn bell to turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. Check out the video links at the end of every video to view our previous content, as well as visit the description section for more links to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and from my family to yours, good night.